Hey guys, Eric with American Muscle. Today we're checking out the Speedform racing seats in black on black carbon fiber vinyl with universal fitment for all 1979 and later Ford Mustangs. And you should really be checking these out for your Mustang if you want a more snug fit and better lateral support, whether you like taking your car to the track or you just enjoy the curves of a good country road. Now, Speedform designs these seats so they have better shoulder, hip, and thigh support, and they also have these design cutouts right here for shoulder harnesses if you choose to add those as well. Now, sold as a pair, these seats come in a high-quality black vinyl along with a carbon fiber look vinyl that's down in the seat area, and that material is stretched over a lightweight tubular frame for added strength without a lot of added weight. Sold as a pair, these seats come in right under $950. Now keep in mind that this kit comes with only the seats. You're going to need appropriate brackets for the model year of your Mustang. Now for the installation we're going to show you in this video, we're using the Corbeau double locking seat brackets that are also available here at AmericanMuscle.com. Now speaking of the installation, guys, I'm giving this a very basic 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. If you give yourself about 3 hours time, you should have no problem getting this job done from start to finish. I think the most challenging part of this installation is not actually getting the seats in and out. That's actually pretty easy, and we're talking about nuts and bolts work here. The trickiest part of this installation is once you get your factory seat out, you're gonna have to remove the wiring harness from underneath it so you can have that wiring connected so that you're not getting a constant seatbelt disconnect warning. Now with that said, let's take a look at the tools you're gonna need and go ahead with our installation. All right guys, tools we're gonna use for this installation include an electric impact wrench, an extension, 1/2 and 15mm sockets, a 6mm Allen socket, a T50 Torx bit, and a flat blade screwdriver. All right guys, now to get started here, we're gonna show you how to get the seats out. We're gonna demonstrate this here on the driver's side. Nothing too crazy, just a few bolts we're gonna have to undo and some wiring harnesses underneath the seat we're gonna have to unplug, and then we should be able to get our seat out. So let's go ahead and get started. All right guys, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna unplug this gray wiring harness right here, and then there's also a yellow harness. We're not gonna have to unplug, we're just gonna have to pull it out from the metal bracket so it doesn't pull any further out when we remove the seat and the bracket with it. Now, you might be looking at something different on your vehicle. We have a 2006 GT here that we're working on with a power adjustable seat. So basically, rule of thumb here is just unplug anything that is gonna be coming with the seat. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so to access the bolts that are holding down the rear part of the seat bracket here, we're gonna have to remove these plastic trim pieces. And on the 2006, they basically have to slide straight back like that, because there's a little pinch clip right here that slides in like that. So these come straight back and out. And now we have the nuts exposed right here we're gonna have to remove. All right guys, go ahead and grab a 15mm socket for this. All right guys, now we actually plugged our seat back in for just a second to slide it back enough so we can get a tool on the 2 bolts on the front here. And for these, you're gonna need a 1/2-inch socket, and these will be bolts. Now this factory hardware we're taking off, make sure you retain that. We're gonna reuse that here when we reinstall the new seats. And also do the inboard bolt as well. All right guys, now with the 2 bolts and the 2 nuts removed, we're gonna go ahead and get our seat out. I've brought the seat back forward a little bit. Because you have those 2 studs sticking up through the floor, we're gonna have to lift it up in the back and make sure we're clearing those studs that are permanently mounted to the floor pan of the Mustang. And then we can kind of roll the seat outward and carry it away. All right guys, now we have our driver's seat up here on the table and we're looking at the underside of it. Just a couple quick things I want to point out to keep in mind as we are switching over to our new Speedform seats is that we're going to also transfer over the buckle mechanism, the latch for our seat belts. And there is a sensor in there, obviously, to tell the car when you do or do not have your seatbelt fastened. So you're probably going to want to bring this wiring harness with you and swap it all over. Obviously, the only thing you're going to really use for your new seats out of that is that sensor wiring, because we're not going to be connecting up to any adjustment motors or anything like that we have on our factory seat right here. So basically, you're going to want to bring this wiring harness with you. Now, this is not going to be a permanent installation. We're just doing a demonstration on our fleet vehicle today, so I'm not going to take apart our wiring harness, but a couple places where you're going to have to unplug is there's a plug back here that connects up to your seat switches on the side, and that's a simple pinch plug. Disconnect there, disconnect the plug here, and then basically remove the plug out of these brackets, and the whole wiring harness can basically come with you once you pull it out of its hiding spots up here around the edges. So let's go ahead and get our seatbelt hardware out, and we'll start the transfer process to our new seat. All right, guys, now to demonstrate the swap over today for demo purposes, we're gonna unplug this here. Now, if you're bringing the entire wiring harness with you, obviously you do not need to disconnect that, but we're going to. And to do that, just stick a flat blade screwdriver in there and push down and then twist. And then this will disconnect just like that. Tuck that out of the way. And now use a T50 Torx bit for the bolt right here. And we'll transfer this over to the new seat frame. All right, guys, now with our original driver's seat out of the car, I want to put up here on the table and give you a side-by-side visual comparison between the stock original seat and our new Speedform racing seat here. And really the styling differences are huge. I mean, it's self-evident as you look at them. The curved shape of the new seat here and these more pronounced bolsters up here in the upright, as well as down here by your thighs. You are going to slide into this seat, and it's going to be more like putting on a glove as opposed to just kind of sliding onto a seat. Now keep in mind also, not only are you going to be held in tighter for more spirited driving, or maybe you take your car to the track on the weekends, so this is a much more high performing seat, but our 06 Mustang here is relatively low mileage because it just sees kind of light use here as a demonstration vehicle for our fleet and our video purposes. But if your car is the same age, maybe it's got over 100,000 miles on it by now, or even more, and you've had a lot more wear and tear on your seat. And one of the first things to wear out on a driver's seat is that outside bolster as you're getting in and out, because it's getting your body sliding across it, you're sitting down on it, and that bolster right here to the outside kind of wears out and goes flat. It's not going to provide you a whole lot of lateral support for that spirited driving in the twisties, whether you're on a country road or at the track. So really, this could be quite an upgrade for you if you have an old, worn out seat, not just cosmetically, but also functionality wise. So really, the other big upgrade with these seats too is that this curved feature right here is going to accommodate you about where your shoulders are. So you're not going to be feeling too boxed in as you're sitting with this seat. And the other thing up here is you have these cutouts. If you're running racing harnesses in your car, you will be able to accommodate those up through here as well. So let's go ahead and get it mounted up into our Mustang. All right, guys, now we're gonna get our new Speedform seat mounted onto the Corbeau seat brackets that we're gonna be using for this installation. Now, you should have some hardware that's already threaded into the 4 mounting points on the bottom of your seat from Speedform. These are Allen key bolts, and you're going to need a 6mm Allen key to get them out. Now, before we do anything with those bolts, you're going to want to eye up the bracket here and see what holes are going to line up with the threaded holes in the bottom of your seat. So go ahead and bring the bracket over. So we're lining up these holes here. We can see we have a smaller precision hole here, and we're kind of just eyeballing it, lining it up with this. And we'll see that the front elongated hole there will line up with that one. And that way we know where we're going to be putting our hardware, and we can adjust the bracket to get started. We're going to want to do the precision hole first and get the bolts started in that, and then we'll readjust the bracket and then get some bolts started up front. All right, so we're gonna readjust our bracket here. Place a hand here, just kind of hold it down and lift up on the adjustment lever. Get that slid back so this hole can be accessed from the underside. All right, go ahead and turn the bracket over. Grab 2 of your bolts and get it lined up. And we're just gonna start them for now. We don't wanna tighten anything down until we have all 4 bolts started. All right, now go ahead and grab the adjustment bar here, slide the bracket back, and that'll expose these 2 holes right here, and we'll get the bolts started up front. All right, now we have all 4 bolts started. We can go ahead and tighten them down. All right, guys, now before we tighten this down, something I want to call out is you're going to want to, if you have this bit of the seat fabric kind of underneath this rail, you're going to want to pull that out, because there is, to kind of help it keep its shape and pull it tight, there is like a wire inside here that gives it a little bit of thickness. You don't want that underneath this bracket as we tighten it down, otherwise it is going to tighten down unevenly, and that's going to twist the rail, and that might bind it up and prevent your seat from sliding back and forth freely. So pull it out to the side like this, basically just enough so that when we tighten this down, this bracket will tighten down flat on the bracket that's attached to the seat. And use a 6mm Allen socket to tighten these bolts. All right, guys, go ahead and reposition the bracket forward again and then tighten these down. All right, guys, now we've rotated our seat around to give you a look at this side. This is our bracket for reattaching the buckle for our seat belt. And we're just gonna go ahead and start the factory bolt in here. And again, you're going to use a T50 Torx bit to tighten this up. All right, guys, now we're ready to put the seat in the car. Go ahead and put the headrest part in first and just kind of follow along with me, and basically the seat slides in nice and easy. And we'll get it lined up on the rear studs, and then we'll start tightening down our hardware. All right, guys, so we're gonna start the 2 bolts up front here while we have some ability to kind of manipulate the seat. We're not gonna tighten them down yet until we get everything started. And go ahead and grab the factory nuts that we removed earlier. Now that we have all 4 attachment points started, we can go ahead and tighten down. On the back here, again, we're using a 15mm socket on these. All right, and again, we're using a 1/2" socket on the 2 bolts up front. All right, guys, now that we've completed the driver's side, you can repeat all the same exact steps on the passenger side. The installation procedure is identical. And that pretty much wraps up this review and install of these Speedform racing seats in black over black carbon fiber vinyl with universal fitment for all 1979 and later Ford Mustangs. And of course, for all things Mustang, keep it here at AmericanMuscle.com.